Hey guys, Sap here with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and I am pleased to be joined by the one, the only, the Mr. Arena himself, hater of all sheep, and that comes from a Welsh person. Of course, I'm talking about Big Papa Drock. I'm so pleased to have him here. I just come from a sponsorship, well, not a sponsorship, a collab. We've been talking for so long, my brain is melt. We had a good collab, and I thought, hey, I've got another conversation we want to have here. So I brought him along. Hey Drock, how are you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing great. We have been talking raid now, I think, for close to 4 hours?
Is it
5 hours?
4? Wow.
3 hours? It's been a lot. Like, we're talking raid, baby. It's a raid day, so I'm doing great, Saf. Thanks so much for having me on, man.
No, good. I'm really pleased to have you here. We just got off a collab. I'm going to put a link to the collab we just did in the video below. It's great. It's a long one. Get a cup of tea. It's really good fun. But it was a great conversation where we talked about summoning rates and where they are currently at in Raid Shadow Legends. And also make sure you go and head over to Drock's channel, give him a thumbs up, give him a subscribe, do all that YouTubey stuff that people do. Make sure you hang out. He's a great source if you want to learn how to be brilliant in the sheep meta that is Live Arena. And also, somewhat, I've had a lot of fun laughing at you raging at sheep, which is bad to say, but you know, I can't help it. Like, some of these moments, you know, it's great. So what are we going to do today? So we had a conversation about summoning shard rates, and I did the worst, most despicable thing I could have thought about, which is, of course, I thought, I wonder how much this would be. It's the worst thing I could ever do in my life. I thought this spreadsheets, numbers, and I was like, So we were talking about summoning rates, and what do I say? I wonder how much money it would cost, on average, to summon every single champion in Raid Shadow Legends. To complete the Pokedex.
Yeah.
I don't know if we should do this, Drock. This is not a good idea, right?
I mean, once you see the number, it's I'm reevaluating my life choices, Saf. That's all I'll say. It's pretty shocking.
Okay, so let's just set the scene. We were talking about times 25 chances, and right now in Raid Shadow Legends, there is over 900, I think it's 926 champions, but just so we clear the air, right? 926, a lot of champions. There is a load, an absolute boatload of champions that you can't summon, or that you get for free, or various different things. Right now, it's currently totaled at around about 44 legendaries, right? We're going to look at the numbers in a moment, but 44 legendaries. You can see the long list, right? We're running out of space here. They're going to have to put a scroll bar soon. It's getting crazy. This obviously includes Unity champions, which we know comes and goes. And there's various different things. So what we're really looking at is, okay, if we were doing it the most optimal way to target farm champions, which is this times 15, it's the only way to do it. How many summons on probability averages, if I was to get Modo of the Peel here right now for every champion in Raid Shadow Legends that you can summon? That's what we're going to be doing. So it's a times 15, and we're going to use these non-boosted rates. That's what we're going to do. So let me pull up the trusted spreadsheet. What do you think, Drock? How much do you think it's going to be?
I know the number is more than anyone would ever want to spend on this game or on anything in their entire life. You know, like, no, it's sickening.
Yes.
It's definitely over. There's no way it's not over $1 million. It's going to be, well, you know, yeah, just, I don't know.
And before we get into it, you're obviously a much bigger spend than I've spent a lot on this game. I've probably spent more than any healthy human being should ever spent on a video game in their life, right? Most of us remember when we used to spend $30 or 30 pounds, and we used to get FIFA every year. Like, that was an expense. That we know now, 30 euros is like basically like a champion's toenail at this point. It doesn't really get you much, right? So you've spent a lot. How much in terms of like I was shocked. One thing that really shocked me that you told me once, and I never really realized this, is this the whale player and point system. You've completed this cycle a few times, right?
Yeah.
It loops.
Yeah, at least,
I had no idea.
Twice. Yeah, at least twice. It loops in. It never loops back to the first 3, but it will loop back to your next 3. So there's 6 total, and then it will just loop those last 3. So I've looped it at least twice,
which is,
if not more,
mental, because just looping it once, like I did this Anisha, this Saoirse, the whale glow stick, as I like to call her, and I'm, you know, I'm quite far into this 15,000. I probably have spent a lot of money since this has come out, you know, comparatively. Nowhere near probably most players that are Krakens. So for you to complete that, your roster's pretty deep, but I'm going to guess you haven't completed your roster, right? You haven't got every character, but you've got a good roster.
No, not even. I mean, like, there was a moment there, Saf, where I genuinely had almost everything. I was really close. Now, we're talking like, this was a year or two ago. This is before they introduced so many new champions in the last couple years, but I was getting close. I was maybe like 10 to 15 champs off
Mhm.
at that time, maybe a little bit more. But at this
Okay.
point, yeah, I'm nowhere close to
Because you
being a
obviously
complete roster.
you've joined the redeemed, right? You've pulled back, and we're now just
Yeah,
casual spenders. I'm in that boat as well. I do still spend from time to time, but buy an energy pack here or there. I might even buy a shard pack every now and then if it's a good deal. But I'm not anywhere where I used to be. Probably
yeah,
12 months.
that's major difference for me. Like I'm still in the no spend mode through the end of February, and then
Right.
whenever I jump back into spending, it's at a greatly reduced rate. And
Yeah.
part of it is just just realizing that there's no real reason for me to do it. And then the other part is, certainly after the video we did earlier and this video, I'm more encouraged not to spend than ever before.
Yeah, because obviously the topic of that video we were talking about was, how realistic is it for players like me and Drock who, my roster here, like I'll show you, we were doing some math the other day about this. Like I've got a lot of legendaries, I've got 371 legendaries and mythicals essentially that I've got here. Or actually, let's better get a bit like this, but 334 legendaries that I've got. So I've got a very, very big roster compared to the average player. I'm in the top 0.01%, probably, I would say. Only those players here. And I don't have half the legendaries. So, for us players, we want to target farm. We don't really want to go and summon. I literally, I'll be honest, I haven't done a video on this yet, but I will probably do a video on the path. I got a legendary on the Ancients. It was another Pixneal. Absolutely useless. What am I going to do with that? I mean, I think actually I could make a +6 Pixneal, but or +4 Pixneal. But, it's like, there you go. Look, I got 4 Pixneals. What am I going to do with it? I can't even max out my Faction Guardians because guess what? I've already done it. Absolutely useless. I mean, at this point, what do I do with another Pixneal? So for players like me and Drock, right, we want to target farm. We want to get the ones. So we were just doing a video on hey, how difficult is that? And this is where we got to the main topic of today, which we're going to talk about right now. So just to give you a quick summary, I'm not going to go over this. Go check out the video that me and Drock did if you want to see the full breakdown of what we talked about here in terms of these averages and the way that these numbers work. But this is kind of like the situation we're at. I just need to adjust these numbers down because we were doing some basic math here. Let's just adjust these down a little bit. So this is basically the rough pool of champions we have in the game right now. We've got 21 mythicals. We've got about 215 because it includes the faction unities and it also includes a couple of other champions that, like the Queen of Hearts event. There'll be 4 champions if we exclude Alice that will come into the summoning pool once that event ends, right? So I've included all those. And we've also got 68 Void legendaries in that pool as well. So what we want to do is just kind of like, if I just hide the numbers, everyone's already seen them. Right now, this is the summoning pool. I mean, YouTube fails. It's a late night here. Let's just talk about the numbers here, okay? How this works out. I mean, nobody watching this video, don't look at the numbers below, right? Just follow the train of thought here, right? That saved me Drock from my own madness. So these are the pulls, okay? In order for you to get, on average, a legendary pull, okay? The one that you want. What we're talking about is if I select a legendary character to go in my times 15, the number of pulls I would need to do, legendary pulls on average to do this, is about 7.7, right? So that's not like 7.7 shards. That's actually 7.7 legendaries that I would need to pull to get that, okay? And then if I want a non-mythical, a non-void legendary, it's 15. And if I want a mythical, I would need to pull 21, basically, to get it, which is, it's stupidly crazy. But that's where we're at, right?
It's brutal is what it is.
It's brutal. And then what we do, we work it across. So we get, okay, so in order for us to do that, we need to pull those legendaries. So the standard rate for a void legendary is 0.5%, right? So we basically figure out, okay, in order for us to get 7 void legendaries, we need 1,540 void shards. And then what I've done is I've created a little price chart here for us. So I'm saying on average, you spend about $1 for an ancient. It's about $3.50 for a void. Some could argue it's a bit cheaper. I mean, I don't know, how much do you normally pay for a void these days, Drock?
Depends when you buy them. Sometimes like, your best deal for a void is probably going to be $2.50 at the absolute best, but like they vary in price drastically depending on what you buy them.
Let's put it at $3. Primals are almost always $5 unless it's a special seasonal event. Otherwise, it's now $5. It used to be $8. They brought it down to $5. And Sacred, It's about $20 if you want to buy a sacred.
Yeah.
Nobody should ever buy a sacred shard. It's the worst deal in Raid Shadow Legends history. So we take those numbers and we go, okay, well, there's 68 Void Legendaries. So in order for us to get the 1, and what we're assuming here is that every Void Legendary is going to appear on a times 15, which is improbable to begin with. We take 68. Why are we doing this exercise? We multiply 68 with 1,504, which means we need about 104,720 Void shards to complete the Void Legendary roster. Which means we're looking, just to get the Voids, at a nice round mortgage value of about $314,000 to get your Pokedex completed for Void Legendaries.
Craziness.
How are we feeling, Drock? How are we feeling? Should we? Let's just carry on.
We're feeling sick right now, Saf. We're feeling sick.
Yes. But remember this, if we look at the epic and legendary mythicals and everything, let's just look at legendary mythicals. There's still 287, right? There's 287. So that's only 68 of the 267. So let's carry this logic through. In order for us to get a non-void legendary, the most efficient way is ancient shards from a price point. So you need about 15 pulls on an ancient times 15. Now, obviously, it would be a progressive, so you could argue that it's a bit better. You can kind of do the numbers here, but let's just assume we're only getting it on the times 15. On average, you would need to get 15 on the times 15. So that's about 3,053 ancient shards you need, and there's 198 of those. So on average, you need 604,560 to get the one on the times 15, which at a dollar means it's at $604,000. So we're up to $1 million pretty much. And now we really see the true value of why we wanted to add mythical champions into the game. Because keep in mind, we've just basically said that 68 Void Legendaries is $314,000. 198, that's a lot of champions, is 604. We only got 21 mythical champions. If you want to get the full mythical champion roster right now, you need to summon about 21 times on average to get the one that you want on a times 15. Oh, sorry, this isn't times 15, of course, because we don't do times 15.
Yeah, that's
right. So this is just a 4.8% chance. Okay, so it's a 5% chance. So that means pretty much it kind of works out the same. It's 21, right? We need 4,200 primal shards to get one. And this isn't on, did I do it on a boosted? I did it on the standard. So this is if you're not getting double rates. So to be kind, we would say maybe, okay, let's only summon on the double, right? Primal times 2. Let's be kind. It does make it a little bit cost effective.
Cost effective? God help me.
Cost efficient. 2,100 mythical shards. And then we have 44 100 primal shards that we need to do this, right? Because we're going to need to basically get 21 of those champions. So right now, for a third of the pool, because that's what we're talking about here, right, Drock? 21 out of 68, it's $220,000 just to get one of each mythical. So we're almost already at the cost to get 68 on primal shards. This is why we made primal shards in Raid Shadow Legends. So just to close the loop, though, just to point out that if you want non-void legendaries, it's much more cost-effective. I don't know if we should use this word in this video.
It's crazy.
It'll cost you about $1 million if you want to do it in sacred shards, and about $1.5 million if you want to do it in primal shards. So the summary, this is the summary, right, Drock? If you want to basically start from Raid Shadow Legends today, if you want to complete every single champion, it will cost you $1.1 million.
Unreal. Just an unreal figure.
But that's not all, because obviously you can +4 these champions. So, the Ultra Kraken, if you want to, I challenge someone in the comments below to find the Ultra Kraken that has done this. If you want to +4 every single legendary and mythical champion in Raid Shadow Legends as of patch 10.2, it is $5.7 million on average, assuming that every single one is on a times 15 and you get it on the first pull on a times 15.
It's unreal. It's just craziness. Craziness.
How are we feeling about that? Why did we do this, Master Drock? This is what happens after you have an hour-long video with Big Papa Drock.
Yeah, I know. We've been talking raid for so long, but it's just like so crazy to see it realized because you just don't understand there's no way to win this game. You know what I mean? Like, and this just really drives it home the immense amount of funds necessary if you were going to even remotely get quote unquote close. It's just crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's absurd. I mean, the one of the things we did then after this, I was like, well, I wonder how much one update adds to the pot, right? Normally, like the last update, we got one new mythical. We normally get a new void legendary. We normally get a fusion. We normally get a normal legendary, and then we get a unity at the moment, right? So it's normally like 5 to the pool. We basically worked out it'll increase the total fee by about 168,000. Now, this is actually a lot lower than we started this, right? Because I just gave it primal. If we didn't do the ×2 primal, it would be 6.7 million.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling. It's just crazy to know. I mean, like, it's just crazy. It's that difficult. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't think that it would be in a game, but like it is. It is. It is absurdly difficult, and
It,
it's just
yeah.
kind
I
of blows
just,
your mind.
and the thing, what I find interesting about this, and I don't know if you've played some of the more modern gachas, right? We play King Arthur. The
Hmm.
systems that we see in a lot of these other gachas, some people say are more predatory because they have banner systems, right? So a new champion comes out, they have a special banner. You have to summon on it. If you don't summon on it, you don't get that champion. But I feel like that champion can be fully upgraded if you spend like a tenth of the price here, right? A
Easily,
tenth.
easily. I mean, like just from my experience with King Arthur, I mean, there's no way you'd ever need to approach any of these figures, even if there were that same number of champions in King Arthur. Just with the way that the summoning system works, it's way less monetized, I guess would be the way to put it. I mean, like this like it's just staggering seeing this number, knowing, and this is your ideal situation, right? Like you haven't pulled any dupes. You're not like you're just saying
Yeah,
like on average, right? You're not like maybe you get some things faster, but maybe you pull a ton of dupes. You know what I mean? Like so it's crazy just to see like a generalized figure of what you'd have to spend to quote unquote win. To win Raid Shadow Legends. Here you go.
I just did a little quick math there to work out, how much does it cost you to get a +4 mythical champion from scratch, right? So it costs you about 4,200 primal shards to get the one that you want.
Yeah.
And then you need to repeat that 5 times or 4 times, so basically 5. So we're talking 21,000 primal shards to be able to, on average, get a +4 mythical, which is about 105,000. So every single time you see one of those +4 6-star led mythical champions in live arena, it's about on average 100 grand.
That's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. Makes me realize why I don't have a bunch of +4 mythicals.
It makes me realize why I have 2 and they're not even +1. Okay, well, that was a video we should never make again. Yes, it's just mind-boggling numbers. Like, it
Play
does
Raid
put its...
Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
Put your link down below, Seth.
I don't know why. We're laughing because we've been talking about this for quite a long time now, but I just feel like this is not a number anyone should have actually gone and figured out. I don't. It's like when they had the system, like there was a little hack, people could find out how much money they've spent, and I was the first. But like when we were talking about it at HH Game, I was like, I just don't want to know. Like, just it's not worth. There's data that I really want in my life. That's a data point that I don't want to ever consider because I know I'll feel bad whatever the number is, and this is one of those data points. But there you go, guys. If you want a +4 fully maxed out roster of legendary and mythical champions, get your wallet out. It's only a short little bit of an investment, about $6.8 million, which goes up about 150k every single time they do an update. There we go.
Seems like a good value. It's like the stocks. It's only up, Saf. It's only up, baby.
I know, right? What? Wow, I don't know. Any final thoughts, Drock, from you? I mean, it's been a pleasure having you on the channel and talking to you for such a long period of time. But any final thoughts? How are we feeling about this number?
This night has been so incredibly enlightening in so many ways. Between the video we did on my channel and now doing this on yours, and it really just drives home how Raid is in many ways a rich man's game, right? You know what I mean? Or at least
Yes.
feels that way when you're trying to quote unquote beat it or to collect them all. And yeah, it really is just shocking to me. I've learned so much tonight, and yeah, I don't even know how to process it. I'm heading to get food after this, and I'm just gonna sit
Mull it all
there
over.
with my like pita bowl and just kind of mindlessly scoop the chicken into my mouth and just wonder where I went wrong.
Well, this is true. And I'm curious, like the big thing for me is actually this is about catch-up mechanics. So if I'm a new player, how do I actually compete with someone like yourself who, you know, you probably before your spending kind of cut off, I'm going to not put a number on it because I don't think that's healthy for either of us, but say that it's a big number.
It
Like,
is.
how do they compete
Mhm.
with you? Because, like, there's no way that they're ever going to get, unless they get, like, super specifically lucky on specific characters and they get from the game. Like, if
Yeah.
someone gloriously manages to pull a Galathir and a Teox and all these other characters that we know are super powerful in the meta, or they somehow luck upon an Arman's into a Galathir into, I don't know, a Nice, and then they manage to get their Maris. Like, these objectives are out of reach for years for the players that are playing the game, which is mind-boggling to me.
It is. And you're absolutely correct. Like, and it's just crazy because I've definitely spent a ton of money in this game, but it makes me think of the people that have spent even more than I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
when you see those
because
plus
I don't have,
14s.
yeah, well, because I don't have a +4 Taurus or even a +4 Marichka or some of the meta things, and I know how hard it is to get those champions on certain events, and so I just wonder, like, damn, I wonder what they did. Like it definitely makes me feel both worse and better to think about
They
that.
bought an oil field somewhere. I think that's the way the answer is goes. But there we go. On that note, I will leave it there. Let me know in the comments below, guys. What's your emotional response to this crazy number that I should never have determined or worked out? There's some things that should be left best to mystery, but now we've unveiled the mystery. Let me know in the comments below, and make sure you go head over to the other video that we did on Drock's channel. Give him a subscribe. It was an awesome time. Thanks so much, Drock, for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And I'll leave you have the last thought of the video.
Just happy to be here, Saf, and thank you for taking the time to come collab with me. It was always a pleasure to get to do stuff with you and just respect the incredible things that you bring up and what you teach me. So thank you, Saf.
Brilliant. Awesome, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.